Definition of state. Different definitions have been put forward by different political thinkers, which are as follows. First, Aristotle. State as a union of families and villages having for its end a perfect and self-sufficing life, by which we mean a happy, honorable life. Second, bluntly, the state is the politically organized people of a definite territory. Third, Woodrow Wilson, the state is the people organized for law within territory. Fourth, J.W. Garner, state is a community of persons more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of territory, independent or nearly so of external control, and possessing an organized government to which body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. Fifth, Professor Harold Lasky, the state is a territorial society divided into government and subjects, claiming within its allotted physical area a supremacy over all other institutions. Sixth, Max Weber, the state is a human community that claims the monopoly of the legitimate use of physical force within a given territory. Seventh, Frederick Watkins, the state as a geographically delimited segment of human society united by common obedience to a single sovereign. Political organization existed since ancient times, such as the Greek city-states and the Roman cities. The term state is comparatively modern and came into use from the word status used by Teutons. It meant something that stood, indicating permanence. The contemporary concept of the state owes its origin to Machiavelli, an Italian philosopher of the 16th century, in his book The Prince, who expressed that state as the power which has authority over men. Essential elements of the state. From the above definitions, it is clear that some elements are to the state, and therefore a state cannot exist without these elements. The four elements are as follows. First one, population. The state is an association of human beings, and a permanent population is a necessary ingredient. The size of the population cannot be fixed. The size of the population depends upon the area and the resources of the state. A state should have only that size of population that it can defend, administer, and support. Apart from the number of people, the quality of population is also important. Physically weak, half-starved, illiterate people liabilities to the state, while educated and skilled people are an asset. The right proportion of different age groups, that is, young versus old age groups, should be maintained. The right proportion ratio, that is, girls versus should also be maintained. A homogeneous population is an essential of the state. But in modern state, the differences of the various groups can be reconciled. Ancient Greek philosophers preferred a population of between 5,000 and 10,000. They were thinking point of view of city-states. Today, no limits can be fixed, but the credibility of a state and its ability to maintain itself depends on its having sufficient population. A large population is not an asset even in modern states, and therefore states adopt plans to keep the population within desirable limits. Second, territory. A definite territory is a vital element of a state. Territory is the physical basis on which the state is constituted. The writ of the state runs within its territory. History shows that the nomads had political authority but could not function as a state for want of a definite territory. Even the Jews did not have their own territory, and they could not form a state till a new state, Israel, was created. Writers like Bill B. and John Seeley thought that territory is not an essential aspect of a state. But modern state is territorial in character. The term territory does not refer only to the surface of the land within its boundaries. It includes the lakes, rivers, water, forests, minerals. Territory includes the airspace as well as territorial waters. A state does not permit overflights through its airspace or incursions in its territorial waters without proper procedure. This is essential for the defense and protection of the land. The size of the territory cannot be fixed. For a state to function, the territory should be viable. That is, the territory must sustain the population with its resources, and it should be possible to defend and protect it. Geographical features of a territory is also an important factor. If the territory is not contiguous, that is, separated by mountains or natural barriers, causes inconvenience. For example, United States has two states, Hawaii and Alaska, which are far away from its mainland. You can observe this in the map that is shown on the screen. Similarly, in the next map, you can see West and East Pakistan. Countries like Nepal, Bhutan are landlocked. So these countries are forced to keep good relations with its neighbors. Apart from the above points, the location, the climatic conditions, and the naturals are an important factors in the of a state. Let us take for example India. It is geographically well situated, has good climatic conditions, that is, it is moderate climate and is also rich in resources. Third, government. The term government is derived from the word gubernaculum, which means steering wheel of a ship. Government is the machinery through which the will of the state is formulated and implemented. Government has three things: the legislature, which frames laws, the executive, which implements laws, the judiciary, which provides justice. There cannot be a state without a government of its own. The rise and fall of the government does not affect the identity of the state, but a state loses its identity if annexed by another power. That is, the legitimate government stands suspended and the state is reduced to a colony. Fourth, sovereignty. The term sovereignty is derived from the word super annus, which means supreme power. The state is distinguished from other forms of organizations by the sovereignty that the state enjoys. Sovereignty refers to the supremacy that the state enjoys both internally and externally. Internally, it has absolute power to impose its will over its population and its territory. Externally, the sovereign state is independent of any foreign control. Thus, sovereignty means the power of the state to make laws, to take decisions, to issue commands which are binding on all citizens, and to deal independently with other states. Sovereignty is the ultimate test of a state. If a state loses its sovereignty because of internal revolt or external aggression, the result is anarchy and disappearance of the state. Thus, sovereignty is the soul or lifeblood of the state.